Are we live? Hey, yo, Nuestra Familia. Shout out to my twin pulling up with the all-star membership icons. I love to see those. Shout out to the emojis. Salute to everybody that's coming in. Great to see everybody. Let's get some stars in the chat now, as you see. And I've been talking about this for a week, so Ebony, bear with me. Let me get a small introduction before I let you go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm not going to rant too much because, I'm a certified yapper out here. But today, my special guest for a live dating Q&A that I wanted to bring on here is an intuition coach, and she's also an author. Her content inspired me a lot. The things that I've seen, she spoke a lot on intuition and sensuality, and incredible website, by the way. And I'm gonna talk about some facts that she has on her website, so you guys can definitely check in and go see how that is, and check her out as well. But what really inspired me to wanting her to come onto this is the way she was speaking about things. And one thing, if you've been tuned into what I talk on, I leaned a little bit into the sensuality, like just talking on that, or even a bit about intuition, and seeing someone who specializes speaking on intuition. It's going to be great to have her perspective on dating and modern dating and little things like that. So without further ado, Ebony, please take it away.
Oh goodness, I don't even know where to start. It's funny. I guess I can share that I didn't look at any of your videos. I saw that it was dating, but I thought you were going to be asking me questions about like intuition and dating, not about my personal life. So I'm excited to
Mhm.
share.
Oh, nice. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's normally what it comes into now. Share, may you share a little bit about yourself and what you do? I know I went off a little bit, but if you
Yeah,
can.
sure. So I am a couple of things. I'm an intuition coach, and
Yes.
I give people readings. I'm a spiritual reader, and I'm also an author with my first book on intuition coming out this December. And I connect intuition and sensuality because I understand intuition through the primary senses of touch, taste, hear, smell, and see. And those are
Mhm.
all very sensual experiences. And oftentimes we think about sensuality just in terms of sexuality. However, anytime you're tasting, hearing, smelling, and seeing, you're having a sensual experience. And when you can
Yes.
bring that into dating, which I guess we'll talk more about, it just really enhances your overall experience, and gives you a lot
Great.
more information about the person that you're dating.
That's a great way to put it. See, I already knew off rip. I was like, yo, this is gonna be a great conversation that we're going to have. Because not many people like they kind of they don't tune into like how your senses or the intuition can heighten an experience or prevent you from an experience as well.
Absolutely.
But the ladies are saying hello, Marie. Great to see you, twin. Great to see you. They're saying hello to you. Thank you again for stopping by. Now, that was a brief introduction of her, and one thing that I would like to say. I know that you're dropping a book in the fall, correct? But
Mhm.
can you talk a little bit about it?
Yes. So it's called Your Intuitive Nudge, a step-by-step guide to connecting with your intuition. And it really is written from like a beginner's perspective with intuition, although I do tackle like some of the high-level intuitive experiences also. But it is really about, how to be more present with yourself so that you can access intuition. And I like to use the word access because everybody is intuitive. It's not something that's specific to certain types of people. Every single person has it. And I think about it as another form of intelligence, and you just really have
Right.
to learn how to develop it. So the book walks people through how to develop their intuition.
Mhm. I like that a lot. Now, there's some if I'm there's some facts that you have on your website. It's I believe it's like facts about intuition, and
Yeah.
I do have some that I wrote down myself because and I was telling her this everybody in the back end too because I was it was just I was in shock at how great it was. Like I was just like, yo, this is very it's well explained and it's straight to the point too.
Oh
But the
my God.
facts that
I'm so happy to hear that.
yeah, for real. Like it, because many, and it's no shade towards anyone, but intuition is almost like a when people talk about it, it's like almost how to access an intuition and how can you logically make it make sense if that makes
Yes.
sense. And the way
Yes.
that you created and like how the facts were right. And I believe it was 10 facts about intuition, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
And how you like broke it down was amazing.
I'm so
So
happy to hear that because I agree. A lot of people think it's this abstract thing that they know the word and they know a little bit about it. but my goal is to make it like really easy and accessible for people to understand so they can
Mm.
experience in their life. Because the whole point of intuition is to bring you more happiness and more joy, to guide you to more experiences that you're wanting to have in your life.
Yeah.
So it's a really powerful tool.
It is, and it's like a. Would you say it's like a self compass, kind of like a compass for
Yes,
yourself? Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
incredible. Now the facts that I do have, and you're more than welcome to expand on it. You talked a little bit about the importance of intuition, but I will ask a question on that just in a few. But what the facts that I wrote down was intuition processes information through the senses. I thought that was very important because a little like I remember when I used to get intuition or an insight on something, right? It wouldn't be like a it could be something that I think, right? I would think that, but it's kind of like a spirit moment, like something that just comes. It's not something that just I'm like, where did that come from? As beginning to learn it and understand it. So when you said that, I was like, wow, it does come from the senses. Like it's in a different sense and a way of creating. Now,
Yeah, because
another.
our physical body is a communication tool.
Mm,
It's a
yes.
tool to communicate with ourselves and with the world around us and with other people through various ways. And so the senses is really our primary way that our body communicates to us. But because we
Yes.
use them all day long, we're looking out of our eyes all day long. We don't think about it as, as sight being a form of communication, but it
Yes.
is, right?
Yes.
And so all the senses are really a form of communication that's processed through our physical body.
Yes. Something I like that you said that. I remember I was in Vegas and I was like, I was having a great time, but I also had like this thought that came to mind, and it was basically saying like, to see is to believe, right? But to know is to grow. And that's kind of like sight versus knowing. Like it's like almost an intuitive thing, that at least that what how I when I was breaking it down in the live, because it was like we can always look beyond of what we can always see what we see. And one thing that I like to talk about in dating specifically is that I have this thing, it's called it's more than meets the eye theory, meaning that it's you can see a lady, but that's not the full story. There's more than what you see and what meets the eye. Now, of course, so you said something important, that your body language can tell a story. There's something that it can teach, or it can say something, right? But I definitely believe in approaching women, even if you're intimidated by it, or whatever the case, you don't know the full story. People are creating stories in their mind already on the women, but that's going off what you see. But what you know is like, I just want to be led by curiosity. I want to see where this conversation can take me. Um now, another fact that I did mention down was intuition has levels, and if you have some time, and you break that down just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think about it as beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And at the
Mm,
beginner level, it's really when you recognize that something is going on, but you don't know what it is. You can't. You walk into a room and you feel it like the vibe is off, but you don't really know why, right? But you can
hmm
just sense that something is like not something is going on. I consider that like a beginner level. And then
Right.
intermediate level is more like you get more information. You can sense that something in that room is going on because, this group of people, it's happening with this group of people, or that you just have more information about why the vibe is off, right? And then an
hmm
advanced level use of intuition is like you actually know, you have all the information about why the vibe is off, right? And so it might
mm
be, um, someone who you had an uncomfortable experience with is in that room, even though you haven't seen the person yet, like you later see the person, right? And so
hmm
that might be the reason why you were feeling off. So,
Yeah.
everyone is experiencing intuition on some level, and we're all getting more or less information just based on how much awareness we have of
Yeah.
ourselves and how much attention we're giving to like our environment at any given moment versus being on your cell phone, doing whatever else you're doing. Like it's really important to be present with yourself, and to
Yes.
pay attention to what's going on in the world around you and not get caught up in all the distractions.
Absolutely. That's incredible, man. Like, I was talking on some similar things last night in my life, like very very similar to what you were talking about. We can get into that in a few, but the last one that I did mention, and this is something that I told you prior to us getting live right now, was that intuition has an abstract way of receiving information. And if you can, maybe I know you basically was talking about it, but if you'd like to, you can talk a
Expand
little
on
on
that
that.
more. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think about intuition as another form of intelligence. So just like we get
Mm,
information from our brain, from whatever we're processing through our brain, which is a million things at one time, we're
mm,
also getting information from our intuition. And it's information that is about how you feel about something. If something is pleasing you or displeasing you. If
yes.
something feels off, feels good, or feels not so good.
Right.
So there's so many cues and signals that our body is giving us all day long that is giving us information about what we're experiencing. Some things people
Mhm.
do are like, um, if you're uncomfortable with somebody that you're talking to, some people might curl their toes in their shoes, right? Or
Right.
some people will like bite their jaw, right? Or some people will tighten their shoulders. Like there's so many physical things that our body does and tells us how comfortable we are in any given moment. Our breathing changes. Some
Yes.
people talk faster, some people talk slower. All that stuff is giving us cues and signals about what's going on in our environment. And if once we learn to pay attention to like our specific cues and signals, because most people, we all have we do different things. Although a lot of it does cross over. Then you can start to understand yourself better and what your body is communicating to you at any given time that is
Right.
not being spoken in words.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a especially in dating. Now that's a great way because oftentimes I will get questions from women like about certain things and how they feel and why they don't feel like they're like they like them but they don't feel comfortable with the individual, right? So they I will get stuff like that and it would be a breakdown. Now this is now off of just my curiosity. Do you know what would you say the difference is between like a woman getting butterflies with a man that they like having a kind of like a crush? How would a woman just be able to decipher the difference between that feeling like it's like not unsafe, but it's like it
Ah,
feels like it's oh, I like this person and it's kind of it's a lot tough. It's a little bit overwhelming that I like this person, like butterflies in the feel in your
hmm.
stomach versus it being something like I shouldn't be around this person.
Like, what are you asking me? Like, what those two feelings, how they differ, or what they feel like?
Yeah, like because at times, let me say, I'm trying to word this correctly as possible as I can, but it's like women can feel either a sense of excitement or thrill
Yeah.
with a man that they like. But sometimes that could be seen as either I do like him, this is a bit unsafe, which doesn't mean it's bad,
Mm.
or it could be like my body doesn't feel right with this individual. And I have a lot of ladies that listen to my stuff. So for this, it's just how can they decipher in between it being a great, thrilling, exciting situation
Yeah.
versus something that's not best for them.
I think I understand what you're saying. It's really about comfort level.
Hmm.
Like sometimes you can meet someone or be around someone who's a complete stranger and you can feel like you've known them for a long time. You feel comfortable saying things, just being seen in front of that
Right.
person, right?
Right.
So, and then sometimes you can be around someone and you want to run away, right? Like you want to leave them immediately. And so I think it's really about comfort level. And everybody's
Yeah.
comfort level is different based on, our own life experiences. And so, yeah, I guess my suggestion would be to trust what you feel and
Yeah.
don't try to make it something that you want it to be. Like really trust whatever you feel and let that lead how you move forward with someone.
Yeah. I think
Does
that's
that make
important.
sense? Did that answer your question?
It does. It does. No, it does because it's you know, how do I? I've had experiences with women where it would we'll have a good time and this that. Shout out to Marquette. He's another guest that I had on, but he speaks on this thing called spark and safety that I often talk about. So spark is like chemistry, the butterflies. You feeling good, you're enticed, and you're thrilled. But safety is also having a level of comfortability with who the person is. Kind of like I feel like I've known this person for a long time, and I've had experiences like that where women were able to open up on certain things And the first date, the first time we meet, it felt like it was we knew each other forever type of thing.
Yeah.
And or versus them telling me experiences where they haven't felt like that in a long time, even if they can think a person is attractive, right? But they
Yeah.
don't feel that connection with that person.
Yes, absolutely. I
Mhm.
mean, and that's a great example because sometimes it's really about it's all about feeling, you know. And so we like to
Mhm.
like people for other reasons, or sometimes people will like people for other reasons. But it's really it's so simple and it's so basic. It's just really following how you feel, you know. And
Yeah.
but the butterfly thing that you were talking about, all those feelings that feel so good when it's new, that is
Mhm.
really fleeting. And so I don't want to sound like if that is not happening, or if you're not experiencing that, then you shouldn't move forward with the person, because sometimes that can come
Right.
back too. You know, I know I've had experiences with men. One in particular, who when I met him, I didn't like him at all. I had a really strong our first date. I had a really strong like negative experience. Like I just didn't like him, but I hung in there and I stayed, with the dinner, and then we
Yeah.
ended up dating for a couple of years, and
Mhm.
I grew a lot in that experience with him. And so maybe that's the part that I was sensing on that first date, because it was a very tumultuous relationship, but I grew a lot. So it's such an individual thing that each person is going to have to navigate in the moment with the person that is in front of them. But
Yeah.
sometimes when we're feeling things that don't feel so good, it could be something that we're sensing that's going to come later in our experience with that person, and it may not be bad, because with this person I grew. It was hard, but I evolved in that relationship.
hmm and also too, correct me if let me know if I'm correct or not. But I know a lot of what it comes down to of what I've experienced or seen in observation was basically just how a man can come off. I like to always talk about the beginning of dating, like it, because the foundation is everything. How you are and how you present yourself needs to be consistent of who you are down the line, right? So it can be simple things as far as taking the lead, telling letting her know I want to see you at 8 p.m. Saturday. It's just initiative, right? He's letting her know who he is off the first rip, right? And if anything goes on, he's telling you how it is. He's being genuine, honest. It's authentic, right? Versus somebody that's over pedestalizing. And what I mean by over pedestalizing, I just think when it comes down to like you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, I'll do anything that you want. Now it's nothing wrong with complimenting, but it's just when you're doing that in the beginning, often most time those can be manipulators, like, and people that just want something that's in between the woman's legs, that but they just do these things to tell her what she wants to hear, right? Not what she needs to hear, but they're telling her. So I definitely see a lot of those, and like how it's like a bit similar to your experience when it's like at first it was like but like I still hung in there though, because it may have been approached that way. So is there anything that you recognize like that for what I said?
um is it what's the question? I'm sorry. Is there anything that I recognize?
Yeah, like how I said it, like coming off like in the beginning, of
Oh,
an experience in dating, like when someone is overly, and it's nothing wrong with complimenting, it's nothing wrong
yeah.
with flirting, but it's
Yes.
overly just you're the most, I'll do anything for you, I'll take
Yes.
you, that type of
Sometimes
attitude.
that's genuine though, because I know
Hmm.
I've had men who always agreed with me. There was one man that always agreed with me, and
Yeah.
I pointed it out to him and asked him to stop, because I want to
Yeah.
know like what you think and what you feel, because he was
Mm.
always agreeing with me just because he wanted to get along. And it wasn't I don't even know if he was conscious that he was doing that, because this is over time. This isn't just like one particular date or one
Right.
particular night. This is like over time. He just always agreed with me. And so sometimes I think men will do that just because I think it can be sincere, and they
Mhm.
just are really wanting to appease the woman. However, the kind of woman I am, like, I just really want to know who the person is. And
Yes.
so I don't
Yes.
want you to always agree with me if that's not true for you, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Now I like that you pointed that out there, because times it can be genuine, but two, I like that you said that it correlates with something that I say often is see the lady for who she is, but not for what you want to see. Like oftentimes men can just see like a what like just beauty, and you can see beauty, but also to have a conversation, get to know who the individual is in front of you,
Absolutely.
like see who she
Absolutely.
is. Don't be afraid to disagree, as you stated, because that's at the end of the day, you got to think for yourself. And if we do agree, we agree, but if we don't, it's not going to hurt nobody.
Yeah.
It just, I think a lot of men can be afraid of stepping on a woman's toes, so they don't have to seem disagreeable and hurt some feelings. They rather stay on the good side. But it's,
Yes.
yeah, two
Yeah.
coins to the
Everyone,
same side.
people tend to be so fragile.
Hmm.
Everyone is so sensitive and so fragile and overly considerate. And
Yes.
that's another sign, because if you find that you're having to be that way with someone, then that's an indication that you're not comfortable with that person, because you can't
Hmm.
just be yourself.
Right. Yes. I like that a lot. I do have a question before we get into other questions, but this is just something that you stated earlier about being present, and I wanted to ask you, in your perspective, how important is it to be present in dating?
It's everything. I mean, present in life is everything, but in dating, it's
Yes.
especially
Yes.
important, because what is at stake is your emotional well being. And so if you're not present enough with someone to recognize if they're emotionally mature enough to treat you with care,
Hmm.
then I mean, that could be really upsetting if someone disrupts your emotional life. So it's super important to be present when you're dating, and to make sure that people who you allow in your space are people who are healthy enough to meet you
Hmm.
wherever you are.
Absolutely, I agree. I think it's important, and two, what I want to say as well. We do have a question from the audience, which I'm going to ask that before I get into mine,
Okay.
about being, but just with emotional well being too, because a lot of a pattern that I notice for men is that there'll be often heartbreaks or just things where their relationship is a bit it's physically abusive, it's verbally, it's just all over the place. But a lot too is that if you're not present in what you're doing, you're not making intentional choices, things can become chaotic because you're just willingly inviting whatever comes in that you may deem as like, okay, I got this thing in my life, but
Yeah.
this thing that you're inviting in could be can actually be detrimental to your future, to your present, and you don't even see
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And everything is energy. Everything is energy.
Mm.
So it's really important to like make sure that you're mindful of people's energy, because
Yes,
some people don't
absolutely.
have to say a single word, and you know if that person is for you or not, just by the energy that they're giving off. Maybe it's something in their body language. So
Hmm.
and yeah, I guess I'll leave it there, because I don't want that to sound, people are so hard. We're so hard on each other nowadays. I don't want it to sound
Yeah.
um
You can say how it is. It's fine. If anyone has something to say, we can pass by. No
Like, I
worries.
guess I said it. I guess I said it. Just being really mindful of energy. I mean, as someone who's as highly intuitive as I am, energy is everything for me. I'm
Yeah.
extremely sensitive to energy. So, yeah, it's important to be mindful of people's energy.
Yeah, I like that because too, there's still things that come off with a man's walk and attitude, demeanor, how he's presenting himself. Even before saying hello, how is he walking up to the lady? Is his eyes to the ground? Is he looking everywhere trying to before, or is he looking directly at her and with a smile? Respectful manner, of course. Don't want to be too crazy, but just reaching out and saying hello. Now, we do have a question. Shout out to Marie. And also, thank you everybody for being here. I am accompanied by Ebony, Bodyweight Intuition, a intuition coach. So get the like, subscribe, and towards the end, we will let her plug in. But if you do want to get to know her handles, it is on the thumbnail. So definitely get with her. TikTok and I believe Instagram, correct? Is
Yeah.
Bodyweight Intuition. It is
Yeah.
Bodyweight Intuition, yes. So a question that came from Marie says, why do pardon. Why do men take advantage when it comes to pardon me, this sentence. Why do men take advantage when it comes wait, wow. Why do men take advantage when it comes to women who are a virgin? I think she may be saying, why do men try to take advantage of women if they're a virgin? If I believe that's what you're asking. So if you like, you can answer that.
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I mean, I guess it's just the same as the reason men take advantage of women if they're not virgins. Like feminine
Yeah.
energy. Feminine energy is extremely powerful. It's the energy of creation. Women are
Hmm.
life givers. We carry and grow eyelashes and heartbeats and blood veins in our bodies. That's incredibly powerful. So feminine energy for that reason and other reasons is really, really powerful. So oftentimes when men are taking advantage of women in any capacity,
Right.
it's really they're trying to capture her feminine energy and her feminine essence. And they may not
Hmm.
even consciously know that that's the reason why they're doing that. But that's
Hmm.
that's why I think, men do that. Why men are so controlling with women overall.
Yeah, I would to add to that too. I'll just talk about it, taking advantage of women. I think just the insecurity. They're unloyal to themselves. They don't know who they are. A man. Listen, one thing too that I like to speak a lot on just dating in general is that it's all about freedom. It's all about her wanting to choose to be with you. You can off. I often talk about the tango. So basically, you say, "Come dance with me," as the man, and the woman grabs the hand, and you guys are wanting to dance together. So it's all about giving her the choice. And I think if men take advantage of women, which happens all the time, is that they're just insecure, control issues, and they don't know who the hell they are. To be honest, you know,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elena. I see you in the building. Elijah, great to see you. Shout out to everybody. Now, let's get into the conversation. Okay, so a question that for you, Miss Ebony,
Yeah.
is what do you look for in men?
Goodness. I mean, that's such a tricky question because I'm a mystic too. So like when
Yeah.
it's the universe literally just hands men to me when the time is right. Like I don't really date. Like something will just show up in my life because I'm aligned with energy and boom, there he is. So
Mhm.
but what do I look for? I guess I like people who are direct in their communication. That's just me. I
Mhm.
know that some women aren't, that can be too strong for some women. I like direct communication. I like men who are kind, just generally kind people. I
Mhm.
like men who are honest, tell me the truth, even if it's painful or hard or whatever. Like, I don't know what to do with a lie. So, like,
Wow.
I don't know how to respond to that. So, I need men who tell me the truth. Um, what else do I look for? I definitely like men who are like have a strong sense of self and know who they are, what they're doing in their life and in their world.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I tend to like men who are also just strong personalities in general, you
Yeah.
know. And I like men who are really intelligent. Intelligence turns me on.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are just some of the things.
I think you said something very important about men. Tell you the truth, even if it's painful,
Mhm.
because a lot of the times men will tell a beautiful lie, right, to kind of ease
Absolutely.
something in, rather than saying it how it is. And
Yeah.
often too, I get a lot of backlash because just mainly from men, right? But just because I say to be honest, be upfront, just
Yeah.
say it how it is. Even if you like, if you just want what's in between her legs, let that be known. Don't try
Yeah.
to dance around it. Just be honest. Women would rather respect that. Now, and it's not even about her respecting you. It's about you respecting yourself. At the end of the day, it's about you being able to be open and honest with the
Yeah.
person, because that shows levels of maturity of who
Yes.
you are. Confidence.
I love that you said that because earlier I wanted to mention that so much of dating is really not about the other person at all. It's about your relationship with you.
Oh my God.
And
Hold on. Ooh, everybody put some stars in the chat for Ebony. Everybody put some stars in the chat for Ebony right now. Get these likes. Hey, yo, that was, oh my God. I just knew this shit was finna be fly. Cause yo, that's okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
Go ahead.
I feel like in life, so much of we tend to, and this is also why people prioritize dating and they kind of make
Yeah.
it their life. Like, I've never
Yes.
been on a dating app in my life, and I won't. Like, it's just not how I navigate the world, right? But
Same.
that's why so many people prioritize it and they make it such a highly valuable thing because they are um, redirecting attention that they need to be giving to themselves to another
Yes.
person because it's like too much to pay attention to your own self and like deal with your own stuff and do your own healing and your own growth and your own evolution. So and it's much easier to divert that attention to someone else. But even when you are dating someone, it's really about how you're showing up for you. It's not about the other person at all. Like that other person is just an opportunity for you to experience more of yourself, you know?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, most definitely. You hit it on the nail. It's really about you and more and not about the other person. It's about oh man. Yeah, that exactly, Marie. That did hit my soul. That hit like I almost flew up to the sky with that one. That was just that was chef's kiss. It was poetry. Cause I just I cause I'm over here like I kid you not, I'm saying that because I'm like, it's all about, if you want, last night I was talking about how to become a difference in dating, and one of the rules and one of the things I stated was see the positive in dating, but not just seeing the positive, but become the positive experience because it's all about you and what you do. And again, dating is just one spectrum of life because truthfully, it's with life. It's just that with dating, most people want to be a different version than who they are in their own life. Now, you can have multifaceted faces of who you are, but how you do one thing is always going to seep into how you're doing a lot of other things too. So it's like how you in dating and how you can get results, how you're going about stuff has more to do about who you are than who she is, right?
Yes.
Because who she is just an individual, right? And she's just her own person. But what you're doing in your mind and how you're feeling about her is all coming from you. You're gonna create this experience going forward. So what are you going to choose? You incredible guest, man. I'm so happy. That really did hit myself for sure.
I'm so happy to hear that. I wanted to say that like 10 minutes ago, but we moved away from that. So you primed me.
We were right there. We were right there with it. Now, so for the next one, I was gonna ask. I think we've talked about just a little bit on it, to be honest. But just to get to the question is, what is your biggest problem with men? And it can be in dating, or you can also add it into just other things if you'd like to.
I don't really have a problem with men, you know? I don't, I actually have a lot of empathy for men. I think
Mm,
the dynamic between men and women is really tricky. And I have empathy for women too, of course, but I don't really have a problem with men. I think I what is my biggest problem? Yeah, I don't have a problem with men. I
yeah.
don't. Men who are so far away from who they are that they are doing heinous things to women are not men that are even in my orbit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, and that's another point I wanted to make too, and especially for I guess for everyone listening, but because everything is energy,
Yes.
as you choose to be in your integrity while you're dating or doing whatever with whomever, you
Hmm.
are also aligning more with that energy. So it minimizes your experiences with people who have less integrity than you do. Like those people
Yes.
don't even come across you. They won't come across your whatever app you're scrolling through. Like everything is energy. You won't be aligned with that kind of experience anymore because
Yes.
you are now in your integrity and you set a new standard for yourself and that speaks beyond like
Yes.
your words. It's how you walk, it's how you hold yourself, it's so many things that people can see. And so those
Yes.
other men who might have mistreated you, they wouldn't even walk up to you anymore. They wouldn't even, because they can already see that you're not having it, you know
Hmm.
does
And
that make sense?
it makes perfect sense. I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. And to like that and where you put yourself at, how you communicate, and of course even just with the body language or just how you're moving. A lot of men can see it as intimidation. Men can see that they're intimidated, so they can stay away. But you're completely correct about on an energy basis and what you're prioritizing for yourself, because that speaks. It does speak. Standards do speak without it having to be said. So
Absolutely. So
I'm a
people
thousand
who are
percent.
having negative dating experiences, like just
Yes.
stay in your integrity while you're in those negative experiences, and then you'll minimize them because your energy will you won't be in alignment with those experiences anymore.
Yeah, very true. And two, even I like to add this in if let's say men you're in a vicinity, you talk with some women, or women, you get approached by a man and they could potentially be on something that you don't want for yourself. Communicate that. Just let
Yeah.
them know this is not, and it's great to reject. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That just does not for you. And it's great to communicate. You don't want to just allow this in because you feel people feel sorry for people, rather than just saying it how it is.
And I generally think people's bad behavior comes from pain.
Yes.
I think when people are lying and cheating and like doing all these things, I think that's just an indication that people are in pain and they
Yeah.
don't know how, if it's a man or a woman, and they don't know how to like confront themselves so that they can
Yeah.
heal from that pain, and
Absolutely.
so they just
Yes.
keep perpetuating behavior that is hurtful to themselves and to other
Yes.
people, you know?
Absolutely. And that's all that's really what it's like. Like, I would say things as far as like, the equality is going to be with quality,
Yeah.
and vice versa. If it's like quantity, quality, and quality, and it's just that's the levels to where it's at. And two, you can add a perspective to this if you like to, but I would say something as far as like, if someone is in pain and you can tell that somebody's in pain and how they are, it is your choice. And I mainly see this, well, it's men and women that do this, but they try to save the other individual, and I think that has a part to play with your, although you may think you're coming in a place to save them, you're allowing this type of energy in your life where it's going to be cause chaotic situations between you and this individual. So that you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And like you said, you put it, ooh, dating is more about you than it is about the other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everyone you date should really be you should be growing from those experiences, so you're like better after the person, even if it
Yeah,
was hard,
absolutely.
even if it was hard.
Yes, just take it on the chin, keep moving. You know what I mean? Just keep going, just keep going. It's all good. You'll be all right. Now, for the next question that I'm gonna ask, and right after this next question, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can start asking some questions, but please put a Q in front of your question. That way, when I see it, I'll go ahead and ask it and let Ebony know so we can talk on this. Hit the like button, subscribe. I do have a great guest here, hitting on the nail, and I'm feeling really excited every time I say that because the that was such a strong statement, and it was just amazing. Now, for the next question that I have for you is, and I know you said you don't, you're not necessarily you don't, well, you don't date. It's like it's placed in the right time, right? You would say,
Mhm.
right? How would you like for men to approach you? What would be your I guess standard for it?
I mean, just like just typical hello, my name is. It's
Mhm.
real easy, you know.
Wow. So, Ebony, are you telling me all you gotta do is say you gotta just walk up and talk and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yes, I'm saying that. Yes, if a man just walked
Wow.
up to me and said, "Hello, my name is," that doesn't mean I'm going to respond and give you my number and we're going. That doesn't mean anything. But you can say hello, like, and hello is. I'm a friendly person. You can say hello.
Yeah, I like that. The reason why I asked that is because it's really simple. It's never complicated. Again, it's almost that thing like how you stated, and I'm gonna keep going back to this, but for the rest of the time for this live, is it's more about you than it is about the other person. It's just
Yeah.
that's the quote of the century. That's all I gotta say. All right, what's up? That is the quote of the century. I can't. I'm gonna have to put that in my community. That's
It's definitely the quote for this call.
Yes, it just I feel it so deeply. Like just because that's really what it is. I mean, that's also just not just dating, but life. Like life is you. Like your choices are you. Your decisions. What you're doing next is you. What you're doing now is you. What you did back then was you. You know, it's like take control of your own will and control that. You know, and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, you did talk about a turn on earlier about intelligence. Um, I want to ask, what are some turn-offs and turn-offs for you?
What are some turn offs?
Yes, let's start with turn-offs. Let's start with turn-offs.
Offs. Oh, I okay. I didn't hear what you said. But turn offs. I guess.
Yes.
Um, I don't like people who are like on their phone. And that doesn't really happen often. But if someone is like on their cell phone while we're at dinner or whatever like that, I don't like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Like imagine if I was on my phone, it's like, or just like in just any in a professional setting as well, just on my phone. Like, what do you say? Go ahead. That's not
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, give me the moment.
And I don't like when men are arrogant. You know, I like men who are humble, even if they have a reason to be arrogant. Like, still be humble. Still be
Yeah.
humble. You know. What else turns me off? And just men who are rude and rude to other people. Maybe not necessarily rude to me, but rude to other people, and like I'm witnessing that. That can turn me off too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, those are the main ones.
I like that. Excuse me, my apologies. Something brought to my attention.
I saw
Staying on
your
topic.
face. I saw your face.
Uh, Yeah, because it was something about numbing the chat. Well, everyone stay on topic, but that's what you guys are for. Just if no one's on topic, get them out of here. Also, if people are just saying their own perspectives, but they're not being disrespectful, allow them to say what they need to say. But if they're being crazy or just disrespectful to my guests, myself, or to you guys have more than to say to just go ahead and go. Um, Now, with the mix of the arrogance and humbleness, what's an example of that? What would be an example for that?
Um, oh, I also don't like when men don't take responsibility, or people don't take responsibility. You know, like
Right.
if I'm bringing something to someone's attention, and they're like, "Oh, well, you dot 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 dot," you know.
Right. Hmm.
But what were you asking the mix between humbleness and arrogance?
Yeah, yeah, but also too to say something that sound passive. Like when you said that, like you know, like when you're talking about the accountability or taking responsibility and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. So
passiveness. Don't be passive, y'all.
you were asking me a question about something I said previously.
Oh yes, what would be an example of you like how you said you could be arrogant but be humble.
Ah,
What would be
yeah.
an example in your perspective?
Um, like when how some men like to show off like what they have, or
Right.
like that turns me off. Like I'm the kind of woman, like I want your heart. You know, I
Hmm.
don't care about your things. And so it's nice that you may have things, but I really
Right.
don't think when a man is like just always talking about his things. I remember this guy I met once for coffee. Someone introduced us, and he was saying to me about a package that he needed to get that was left on his front porch, and how like there was something really expensive in it. And I was just like, that has nothing to do with anything. Like I don't. Why are you telling me that? Like I don't care.
Mm.
So that kind of those kinds of things.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe in his mind he was like, this gonna get her. She's gonna be impressed by
I
this.
don't know what that was, but he kept bringing up that it was so expensive, and that I don't know if someone,
Man,
yeah.
after you. No, after you. I didn't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
I was just gonna say, I mean, nowadays with everyone, we all receive things that are shipped to our homes all the time. If a package is missing, easily get that package back. If it's gone, if someone takes it, like you can report it in whatever way you need to and get the package back. It's not that big of a deal.
That's very true. Yeah, it's like it sounds like either he wanted to lean to the expensive, maybe because there's a lot of guys that speak on looks, money, and status. They're really like, well, this is gonna get her, this is gonna do that. All you need is your money. Women gonna flock, and it's like, well, have it obtain that for yourself, right? Let that be like a self motivation
Yeah.
rather than a world validation, woman validation. And then but at the end of the day, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, most women would rather they want to know who you are versus what you have. They rather know who the individual is and
I
connect.
can't speak for most women, but I know for me, yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%. I think it's so
absolutely.
beautiful when people allow themselves to be seen by someone else. You
Mhm.
know, like I want somebody to witness me. You know, like in all my
Yes,
fullness. You know.
yes, yes, yes. You get it. That's all. You just get it. You get it. Yeah, just see the. It goes back into what I mentioned earlier. See her for who she is, not for what you want to see. Like see this. Like, and that goes back to being present in, of course, life, but in dating. If you're meeting somebody, be present. Be aware of the conversation you guys have. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware if this is not it or whatever it is. Just things like that. Um, Now, I'm gonna ask this final question, and then after this, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Big shout out to Ebony, Bodyweight Intuition. Shout out to her for taking this time out tonight. We will be ending in about 15 minutes. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm gonna end with I'm gonna ask this last question, and afterwards, I'll be putting up a number. So, ladies and gents, if you guys want to call up, you're more than welcome to, but you must be over 18. You cannot. Well, do you want to say 21 just in case, or like how would you like that for yourself?
It doesn't matter to me.
Let's stick with
However
18
you
plus.
normally do it.
Yeah, let's stick with 18 plus. So there's a potential you guys can call up, speak to her. Ladies, if you got a question, or gentlemen, I mean, if you like with what you see but want to know more, you could potentially speak with her. Have a conversation. If you've been through this live, you can hear it. But hey, but present yourself, be authentic with what it is. Now, for the last question, and I believe we spoke a lot about this because you've been incredible by the way this whole live. But what do you believe is wrong with dating nowadays, in your perspective?
What do I think is wrong with dating? I think people are too superficial.
Hmm. And what and may you go into detail and what aspects do you mean by that?
I mean, people are only concerned with what someone looks like, or what someone has, or what someone can do for them.
Yes,
It's not about like a heart connection or a soul connection or any kind of connection at all, really. I don't even
absolutely.
think most
Yes,
people are can say they have connections, real connections with people. It's just always something superficial, something to do, something to show. It's so ridiculous.
something to distract,
Yeah,
something
something to
to
distract. Yep.
absolutely. No, I completely understand. That's why a lot of the time, and again, I've been saying it throughout the whole thing, but I'll speak on connection, like just connection, seeing who the individual is, rather than what you would like to see, rather than a. I mean, you could see the body, you can see the face, you can see the nails, you can see the hair, you can see the makeup. Like that's let she's doing that for her. But what else is behind that? It's more of a, again, led by curiosity, rather than what you think that you're seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
People are so beautiful. When you actually do get past people's stuff, like people
yeah,
are so beautiful and they have so much to offer.
they do. Because the other day I got a question on wh- about dating independent women, or like women that has more money than me, or if she has less or something like that. And I
Mhm.
just said I'm not into dating to like for what she has. I'm into dating for who she is. But obviously, like, and one thing that you pointed out that I really liked was it has to align too with what I got going on. Of what my standards are for myself.
Absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the line is active. Again, you must be 18. And I'm going to be asking you, what is your name? So please don't give me your handle name. Don't say, "Oh, this is Honey Drip 81 on YouTube." No, you need to tell me your name, and do not call from an unknown number. And you have to be over 18. I will be asking your age, right? Ladies, you are more than welcome to call into if you have any potential questions. We have an intuition coach and an author. I mean, man,
Hmm.
she's been hitting me on the nail. She's been killing it. She's been killing it all day. Um, Give me one brief moment. Now, I do have a question from a viewer. They wanted me to ask you this before. Um, I got onto here because I asked my viewers if they had any questions prior to this to ask you. And so this gentleman asked, and he's over 21. I'm just letting it know because I asked for their age as well. They can't be a 16-year-old asking. But he asked, would you rather have short-term love or long-term lust?
Definitely short-term love.
Short-term love. Okay. So, sir, if you are in chat, she has answered the question for you. Here, let me. I think I pinned this. Also, thank you for the 4.99. I believe there is a question, and you can answer if you like. I don't speak on religion nor politics on my end, but this gentleman asks, "Do either of you believe in God?"
Oh, I absolutely do.
Yeah,
Not in the religious sense,
but
but yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. I think that I've actually created a live a couple months ago. If you guys remember my Las Vegas arc, I had a live where experience where I met God in Las Vegas. It was a it was an intriguing experience.
Wow. I mean, I
Yeah.
process intuition as our connection to the divine. That's where
Hmm.
that intelligence is coming from. You know.
Yeah. Would you say things like downloads, messages? I hear people often use this
Yeah.
phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're spiritual beings first.
Hmm.
The body dies. This experience is temporary. We all know that we're going to die at some point. But
Yes.
but our non-physical aspect, I believe the spiritual part of us, it continues to live. In what capacity and what that looks like, who knows? But
Hmm.
we know for a fact that the body dies. You know.
Yes, absolutely. It's nothing you can escape. You know, it's just a part of what this experience is. And a lot of there could be times where you can't grasp that fact. You know, one thing, too, people talk on how like they're afraid of time or they're scared of time, but to me, I think time is one of the biggest apexes, right, of life. But also, I believe too, like time can be an asset. Like befriend time, learn from time, be with time. Like, it doesn't have to be a negative like experience. Enjoy that. Like, what can you learn from time? Genuinely, what can time teach you, and how
Yeah.
can you grow? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Now, well, listen, you guys are more than welcome. I see that you guys say you want to call in. Don't be afraid. Ebony's not gonna go through the phone and just she ain't gonna do none of that. She's gonna talk. She's having a great time. Thank you everybody for being here. They're really processing you very well. They enjoy your knowledge. They love you as a guest so far. Excuse me one brief moment. You're more than welcome to. If you guys want to call in, you can call in. I said you guys should you not? Don't let somebody dare you. Just do it. And if you do have a question, put a Q in front. We're only going to be going on for about 8 more minutes into the 1 hour mark. I don't want to take too much of Ebony's time. So if you guys want to seize the opportunity now for just even a question, if you got anything on your mind you want to learn, even if you have a question on intuition, speak on that. Ask. You have her right here. I can't even talk, man. You know what? Let me ask a question. How what would you say and I think you may have said it, but I may be repeating myself when I say this, but what would be the importance of intuition in life besides dating? Let's just talk about on a life aspect.
Well, it guides us to our desires. So it's as important as your brain. So I think about it and that it's that um, useful and valuable in our lives. Because it gives us information that our brain doesn't give us, because our brain has pain and biases and judgments and all the negative self-talk and all the experiences that make us think we can't do something, when your
Yes.
intuition doesn't have any of that.
Hmm.
It really is just coming from your purest, most divine, I think most intelligent part of yourself. And
Hmm.
so much of what gets in our way in terms of how we progress or move in life comes from past experiences
Hmm.
that we make true for us for the rest of our life. And so your intuition will guide you in a way that your brain doesn't guide you. So it's
Mhm.
so important. It's so important. And it's already doing it. Everyone is already using their intuition on one of those levels, you know.
Would you connect it to instinct almost?
It's very similar to instinct. Yes,
Okay.
very similar, but not exactly the same. And I guess I can say the difference for me is instinct is more, um, it's more automatic. I mean, they're both automatic. Well, I guess the main difference is they come from different places. Because I think intuition comes, I think of it as our divine, it comes from the divine in us, right? I think instinct comes from the brain and it's more based on our experiences that our brain has had, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, most definitely. Yeah, I could see that on an instinct, like a kind of like a survival level too, like an
Yeah.
instinctual level. Yeah, most definitely. And I like that you said that our brain can, can hold like I don't want to butcher what you said exactly, but it's about anxiety, fear, doubt, and everything.
Oh yeah,
Because
it holds all that memory.
right. So would you say that intuition speaks first, and then that follows in behind?
Absolutely. Intuition definitely speaks first. And then a lot of us, when we get those intuitive nudges, we then think about it. And then we
Yes.
let it take us in a direction that it didn't intend to take us because we start to rationalize why we can't do something, why something won't work out, why it's going to be so hard. And then you've talked yourself out of it when your intuition just told you to go in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. B asked, how do you feed into your intuition?
How do I feed into it?
Yes, and I think maybe themselves as well. Maybe they want to know for themselves too.
That's such a beautiful question. The main thing you can do is to spend time alone, which I know
Mm,
is really hard for some people. But when we're by ourselves, we experience ourselves differently than we do with other people. And
yeah.
you can hear from yourself. You know, like that inner voice, not your negative self talk that's telling you all the things you can't do and why, how hurtful or bad you are or whatever. You can hear it like from your heart, and
Yeah.
you can hear what is true, your truths, when you're by yourself, because when you're always surrounded with other people, it's really hard for you to drown out what is true for them to get to what's true for you. So I think
Mhm.
spending time alone is a really important way to get into with your intuition, and also managing all your negative self-talk, because we
Yes.
all have it. And so when it comes up, just making sure that you recognize that it's not real. Like, yes,
Yes.
you're talking to yourself in this negative way, but kind of countering it. So if you're saying, like, oh, I'm never going to be good at ABCD, and you notice that you're saying that to yourself, like, counter that immediately with the opposite. Like,
Yes.
oh, I'm going to be great at ABCD. Even if you don't
Yes.
believe it yet, it doesn't matter if you don't believe it or not. It just matters that you get that thought in your brain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something I would like to say to that too, because I can't believe we're ending because now I want to talk about for 3,000 years. But possibly we could potentially do a part two if you're up for that. We can, and I would love to talk on. We can even speak on things like that because that just blew my mind. But because I had this quote that I started with once I started my brand, but it's young vicious tigers seeking our fangs into this world, no hesitation, forward thinking only. So basically, it's always listening to what comes first, and then what always follows behind is it can be the fear, it can be the anxiety, it could be the doubt. And I often, speaking to it in dating, but I can generalize it into life just in general, taking a risk, doing something to go out of your comfort zone, whatever it could be, the thing that you want to believe. Because when you have that thought, and right when your intuition comes in, and you, let's say you don't necessarily believe because you're like, it's just a thought, right? But for it to become a consistent belief in your life, and for you to know it's true, firstly it's true because it's there. But when you create an action along with your intuition, that becomes it's like it's reciprocating what you always been believing into yourself. You start to create a ripple effect in your reality because you're like, wait, I can actually do this in my life. I'm creating something outside of my comfort zone. Well, the comfort zone can be the fear, it can be the anxiety, it can be that you're used to. So when you break out of that along with an action, that creates the ripple effect, as I stated. But that was it's profound.
Yeah, I mean, intuition is powerful for so many reasons because we're creating our reality every second of the day, whether we're conscious of it
Yes.
or not. And
Yes.
so, with your intuition, you can be a more powerful creator of your reality just
Hmm.
by listening to and paying attention to yourself and
Yes.
trusting yourself. Like there is no level of intelligence that you need that is outside of you. Like all
Mhm.
you have all the intelligence you need inside of you, and you just have
Yes.
to believe that, and you have to trust that, and you don't have to know how to access that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes. And like you said, and like she stated before we go ahead and go, spend some time with yourself. Get to know who you are, get to in all aspects, not just the positivity you see, but even if there is negativity, look at that pattern and be like, this is who
Absolutely.
I was. Like this is what I've been choosing. Create a conscious decision to choose the positivity, because when you do that, you get to choose a difference, and that becomes a difference maker, not just in dating, but in your life for yourself.
Yes.
1000%, man. Callie, great to see you. Corey, great to see you. Me too, great to see you. Now, I don't want to take too much of your time because you're gonna get me started, and I'm gonna be talking about this. I am having a game night going later tonight, with my friend, which I'll probably be talking about on live again. I'm gonna have the same conversation. But may you please let them know where they can find you, how they can get in contact if they want to talk to you going further, please.
Yeah, sure. So my website is really the best way to learn about me, which is bodywayintuition.com. And
Yes.
you can book me for a 15-minute discovery call, before you book any of the services or just to like get more information because I know what I'm sharing is new for a lot of people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's so important that I want everyone to understand it. So really spend some time on my website and read it, and there's a Claire Census quiz on the website because I believe everyone is clear something, which is an advanced level use of intuition.
Hmm.
And my book is coming out, and there's also an Amazon and a Barnes and Noble pre-order link on my website for the book.
Amazing. Are you gonna do a sign? Like, are you gonna go into and do like a book signing?
Probably at a Barnes and Noble in New York City. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in New York City, go over there. Go over there. And if you've been around my parks, go over there and tell her I sent you. But go over there and have some good time and get to know who the individual is, please. But again, I do want to say thank you for your time,
Thank you.
Ebony. You have been an incredible guest, and again, I would love to have you again. We can take the part two into just the fear and anxiety, and what it can look like and what it can be to capitalize the intuition. I'll do some note taking in a few, on it, and I'll run it by you again.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much for having me and for being interested in my content on TikTok.
Of, of course, absolutely. You guys have a great one. Thank you again, and have a good night. Authenticity is the new. Until next time, I'm gonna see you guys soon. Thank you again. Peace.